Scholastic News today is called We're in This Together. And on the bottom, it says, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a brave Black leader. He worked hard to change our country, but he didn't do it alone. He worked with other people. So it was a team effort to kind of change our country way back when. So make sure you have your name at the bottom. And we're going to watch a video that goes along with this Scholastic
Digit
News.
in the one place is 2 more than the digit in 10 places.
Dr. King, a leader and a hero. Do you recognize this man? People all over the world know his face. They know his name. Now you will too. This is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and he was an American hero. Dr. King was born in Atlanta, Georgia on January 15th, 1929. That was more than 90 years ago. Here's a picture of Martin when he was 6 years old. He loved riding his bike, playing baseball, and eating ice cream. Martin's best friend was a boy who lived nearby, but that changed one day when his friend told him they couldn't play together anymore.
I remember this one.
His friend was white,
I see it in Miss
and
Jackson's
Martin
class.
was black.
Yeah, we watched this in
His friend's father didn't want his son playing with a black child. This made Martin sad and angry. He didn't understand why he couldn't play with his friend. During that time, there were laws in parts of our country that kept white people and black people apart. Keeping people apart like this is called segregation. The law said that black people and white people had to go to different schools, parks, and restaurants. The schools and parks for black people were often old and run down. The schools and parks for white people had newer books and better playgrounds. In some states, black and white people were not allowed to use the same water fountains and bathrooms. Buses were segregated too. When Martin was all grown up, the laws hadn't changed. He and many other people knew these laws were unfair, and the laws made him very angry. But he was a peaceful man. He did not want to use violence to change the laws. So what did he do? Dr. King used his words. He wrote letters, newspaper articles, and even books. He wanted to persuade people to end segregation. He organized marches. He led big groups of people as they walked through streets. They all thought the laws were wrong. Other people saw these marches and began to ask themselves, are these laws really fair? Dr. King also gave speeches. He spoke in front of thousands of people. In 1963, Dr. King gave his most famous speech at a big march in Washington, D.C.
Whoa!
He talked about his
That's a
dreams
big
for the
lake.
future.
A lot of people.
He said he believed that someday the world would be a better place.
My poor little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
Dr. King's words made people feel hopeful. When he spoke, the crowd cheered and clapped. Some people cried and hugged each other. They also believed the time had come for things to change. His dream helped other people dare to dream too. There were still some people who didn't want the laws to change. They were angry with Dr. King for trying to change them. They tried to hurt him and his family. That was scary. But Dr. King was brave. He didn't let those people stop him. He kept working. He knew he was doing what was right. Dr. King was a great leader. He inspired many people. He made them feel brave and strong. He made them believe that together they could make a change. It can be hard for one person to change the world on his or her own. But when thousands of people work together, they can make a big difference. And they did. It took a long time, but the laws of segregation did finally change. Dr. King's leadership and hard work helped make the world a better place. Dr. King is no longer with us. Still, people remember him and continue his good work. We celebrate him every year in January on his birthday. On this day, we take time to think about his life and what he did for our country. But you can celebrate him every day. You can spread his message of love, peace, and fairness by treating others with kindness and respect.
Black people and white people can spend their life with each other now?
Okay, so Martin Luther King wanted peace, love, and fairness, right?
Yeah.
Oh, they always do that.
What is one reason Dr. King was a hero? Talk about it.
What do you guys think? Why was he a hero?
See you soon.
What?
John?
He wants everything to be equal.
Yeah, he wants things to be fair and equal, and especially with people. And he says it doesn't matter what's on the outside of you. What matters is what's on the inside and what kind of person you are. It doesn't matter what color skin you have, or what color of hair or eyes you have, how tall you are. All that it matters is what kind of person you are on the inside. Are you a kind person? Are you a respectful person? And that's what really matters. Okay? All right, so let's learn a little bit more about Martin Luther King Jr. Let's turn to the inside. And I'm going to have some of you guys help me read this today. And on the inside, it says, standing up together. So we're going to read that section right there. And there's a caption to this picture, and it says, Dr. King protesting with others in 1965. Now, this kind of protesting is a little different than with the protesting we have seen this last year in America. This protesting has been peaceful. That means people have been using their words more in a positive way. And they haven't been using hateful words or fighting or other things that people are doing that is not very safe or that is very harmful. So that is one thing about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is when he protested, he used words and he used kind, good words. So that's something I think that us as America, we need to get back to, is protesting peaceful. So,
Did you say 1965 or 1955?
when he protested was 1965.
Oh, is that gonna...
1965, I believe I
Okay,
said.
I got it.
Okay, all right, so as you read, I want you to think about why it is helpful to work together. Got to? Okay, Braylon, would you start reading, please, nice and loud? And everybody else, I would like you to follow on. And Miss Subert, would you take John to AR Read? Maybe you sit in May school. John, would you grab an AR book and go read with Miss Subert real quick? Okay, thanks. Is that your Charlotte and Carson. Okay, Raylan, you may start. Thanks for waiting. Really loud, Raylan.
Dr. King was born more than 90 years ago. When he was a boy, black kids and white kids couldn't go to the same schools. They couldn't play in the same parks. Black people could not eat at some restaurants. Why did this happen?
Okay, so more than 90 years ago, Dr. King was born. So this year, his birthday, he would have been 92. That's how old he would have been. Now,
If he wasn't there.
if he's still alive, he would be 92, which he could have been alive, but we learned today in our story that he died because he was shot and killed. But he could still be alive. Now, why did this happen? Why could black and white people not be in the same place? Kaden, why do you think?
Because their skin wasn't the same.
Yeah, they said people's skin color wasn't the same, so they couldn't be like in the same schools, they couldn't go to the same parks, they couldn't go to the same restaurants. And why was that? What, Louis, what do you think?
Because black and white people had to be their way.
Yeah, they had to be separated, and that the word that they're going to use is segregated. They had to be
Segregated.
segregated. Everybody say that with Mrs. Murphy.
Segregated.
Yep, and that means separated. They had to be separated. And that was the law back then. So that's what the law said. Do you think the law was right? No. And Martin Luther King Jr. didn't think the law was right either. So let's read the next section about keeping people apart. Addie, would you read really loud, please? You can take down your mask. Charlotte, Arsenio, you can go up now. Okay, Addie, start with it.
It was
Addie, can you do one more thing for Miss Murphy? Take down your mask and talk really loud in a teacher voice.
because of unfair laws in some parts of our country. The laws kept black people and white people apart.
Can you read that big word? What was
This
this?
is called
Segregation. That's a really big and hard word. Segregation. So that was the law. And we know the law wasn't right, it wasn't fair, and sometimes laws change. Laws are always changing, and it's up to us, the people, to help decide what the law should be. What do we think is fair and right? And they were thinking this is not fair, so they wanted to change the law. All right, Kaden, would you keep reading?
Yeah.
Okay, start with segregation.
Segregation made life harder for black people than for white people, but Dr. King was proud to be black. He knew that segregation was wrong and that the laws needed to be changed.
Good. So he knew it was wrong, and we need to change these laws. So, how do we do that? Well, he needs to become a leader. All right, so Dr. King, the leader. Louis, would you read that first paragraph really loud?
When Dr. King grew up, he worked hard to change the laws. He worked in
Peaceful
peaceful
ways.
He didn't want to harm anyone.
Good. So,
He gave
just 1 second. We're going to stop there, Louis, to talk about that. So Dr. King wanted to change his laws, but in a peaceful way. He didn't want anybody to get hurt. Okay? So how is he going to do this? LES, would you start reading the next paragraph, please, really loud? Right down here. He gave speeches.
spoke in front of thousands of people. He was a great speaker. His words gave people hope.
Good. So he was a great speaker. He gave speeches in front of thousands of people. And he gave them hope that we can change this. All right. Let's have Brooklyn continue. 1 second. Brooklyn Lewis.
We've been learning about 1,000.
Learning about what?
1,000.
Thousand.
Math.
We have. You are right. All right, Brooklyn, start with he also. Brooklyn, we're right up here. also led peaceful protests. Good job.
Protest big groups of people walk down the street together. They
Held
some
signs saying. Okay, stop there. Good job. So a peaceful protest. They held signs. They sang songs. Now, you guys have probably noticed on the TV lately, people are protesting.
No.
And are they doing it peacefully?
No.
No, they're not. And that's one thing that needs to change is we need to go back to being peaceful. Because we don't want our America to come apart again. We want to come together. And that's what Dr. Martin Luther King was so supportive of, is bring our world together. Wyatt, you want to keep reading?
All this protesting just started because of some weird cop choking someone to blood.
Right. There's lots of reasons why the protesting is starting.
Top chocolate.
You're right, Wyatt. But that was one main reason why. But do you believe the people that were protesting did it the right way that Martin Luther King wanted us to do? No, you are right, Wyatt. Wyatt, would you continue with people saw?
People saw the protests on TV. The protests made more people think the laws should be changed.
Good job, Wyatt. So just like you guys have probably seen some protests on TV. That's where we see this stuff. Even adults and kids. And sometimes the protests aren't peaceful, but you guys know that is not the way we protest. We need to do it peacefully. So you guys, and Mrs. Murphy too, and adults, we need to change that. We need to change that. We need to bring people together. Wyatt, did you want to say something?
And then they're just walking down the streets with these signs, Black Lives Matter, and they're even doing it on Prime Video.
On what kind of video?
On Prime Video.
Right, so you can see it, definitely. Whose timer is that? Ellie, would you check it out? Is it in there?
Sometimes mostly so when people get when they go when black people die to the hospital and they get put on the news, why do mostly they get only put on the news? All
That's a
lives
very-
matter, and everyone keeps on pointing around only one person got
Good question.
killed, and they keep on running around the whole city saying Black Lives Matter when one person, like a couple got killed, like 10, and they're not walking around the whole city saying white matter.
Right.
Why?
Right.
What?
Where we feel like we're all people, it doesn't matter what color your skin is. We all matter, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they're not. They should say all lives matter.
That's right.
Not just black. All lives matter.
Everybody, each one of us. And that's what Martin Luther King said. We're all, it doesn't matter the color of our skin, right? Okay, all right, let's continue bringing people together. Libby, let's have you read. A protest.
A protest doesn't keep people apart. It brings them together. People stand up for what they believe in, and they do it together. That's
Powerful. Good, that's powerful when you come together as a group. That can be powerful. Okay, let's keep going. Corla, could you read about Dr. King on the next paragraph? Really loud, Corla.
Dr. King was a strong leader, but he had a lot of friends by his side.
Hayden and Tyson.
They were more powerful together.
Good, stop there. He was a strong leader. He had lots of friends by his side to help him. He was a good leader. All right, the last paragraph. Ellie, would you read that? Ellie, you can take down your mask so we can hear really loud.
It took a lot of hard work and years of
Protesting.
but some of the unfair laws were changed.
Good job. So it took many, many years, but some of those unfair laws were changed. Okay, let's go up here to the work goes on. So we're not done yet. Just because we changed one law doesn't mean that there's not other laws we changed. All right, Riley, would you start up here? Dr. King is no longer alive.
Dr. King is no
Longer
longer
alive.
but his work goes on
today.
Today people
Still protest.
they
Come together. Stand up.
Stand up for
What?
what is right.
Good job. People come together to stand up for what is right. All right, the last paragraph on this page. Let's see. Arya, you haven't read yet. You can.
You can stand up for
What is right?
what is right to and
Having
having a
friends.
friend by your side
Makes.
makes
Oh, might make
it
easier.
easier to do it.
Might
Might make you feel
brave.
brave and
Strong.
strong, just like Dr. King.
Good job. Just like Dr. King. So, if you have a friend with you and you're not by yourself, it probably makes you feel better if you're like standing up for something that you believe in. Is it okay that we all believe in different things?
Yeah.
Yeah. We all have our own beliefs. We all have our own opinions. And that is okay. But is it okay if you make fun of somebody for what they believe in and for their opinion? No. It's not okay to make fun of somebody because we're all different. We all have different beliefs and opinions. But most people will believe in something to be fair or not fair. And that is what they were trying to change. Most people thought that these laws were not fair. We need to change them. Brooklyn.
Like, people don't believe in the stupid.
Right.
Santa, soft reindeers, unicorns,
Right.
all sorts of stuff.
Right.
But I know I don't believe.
Yeah, some people might believe
I
us.
don't believe in tooth fairy either.
But some people might, right, Brooklyn? Yeah.
Really.
But we're still not gonna make fun of people for what they believe in, right?
Yeah, because a couple of days ago when it was protesting time, people were in the at lunch saying what they like when we all got together, and one person said someone said the one that they like, and the whole class picked a different one, and then a lot of people just bullied it, and I said, stop, it doesn't matter.
Good for you.
She can do her own stuff, what she believes in.
That's right. Good job, Brooklyn. Good job for standing up for your friend. Because sometimes we need somebody to stand up for us, and you did the right thing. So good job. Hayden.
And Dr. Luke, well, the signs also have words on them.
The signs also have words on them. You're right. Oh no. They do, don't they? Okay.
Kids can make
Okay, now let's flip to the back. It was on my desk, that's why. On the back, we get to see a timeline of Dr. King's life. So look at this timeline. At the top, it starts with 1920, and then it goes down to 1929. That is when he was born. So like I said, if he was still alive, yeah, he'd be 92 years old today. Then in 1944, so go down a little bit, he started college. In 1953, he married Coretta Scott. In 1963, this is where he made his famous speech that said, I have a dream. Okay? And then in 1964, he won an award called the Nobel Peace Prize. So in the world, they pick out one person who's tried to make peace, and he won it that year. So that is amazing.
Miss Murphy, this doesn't make sense.
Just a second, we're not there yet. In 1968, he was killed. And who remembers from the book St. Martin's Big Words? How was he killed? Well, how do you remember, Keaton?
By a gun.
A gun. And what was he doing? Do you remember what he was doing? Addie? Do you remember? He went to go help these garbage collectors that were in Memphis, Tennessee, that were striking. And he went to help them. And on the second day he was there, he got shot. Yeah, and killed. So there was somebody that did not like what Martin Luther King was saying. Was it okay for them to hurt him and kill him?
No, that wouldn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense.
They
You're
could
right.
just tell him to stop.
Right, they just need to use their words and tell him to stop or do, right, exactly. So unfortunately, he was shot and killed when he was pretty young, but he still helped make the world a better place, or make America a better
I
place.
think he was 30-something.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure on his age. I'd have to, 1968, he was born in 2089.
37. I'm saying
He
he's.
was 39.
See, I was close.
That's how old Mrs. Murphy is.
You might be 40.
He's
39?
I am.
37.
Ellie's not.
Addie!
Mark's 37.
Was Martin Green?
Who was the president?
You know, I don't know. I'd have to look that up. I'm not sure who the
Miss
president was. at the
Murphy,
time.
mom turned 30 on August. I don't know for a month, but my dad turned 43 in December.
Awesome. They're about our age too.
This is
Okay, let's go on.
I don't remember.
In which year was Dr. King born? Our choices are 1920, 1929, 1944. Look at the timeline. Raise your hand if you know what year he was born. Hopefully I can find everybody's hand. Look when he was born. That was the very first thing on the timeline. When do you think, Tyson?
1944.
Oh, 1944 is not your bud.
I know it. 1929.
1929.
It shows you. It shows you.
It is showing you.
Wait, you clicked it?
Yeah.
Huh?
All right.
This is different.
Which happened in 1953? So look at the timeline and find 1953. Was he born? Well, we just learned he was born in 1929. He started college. He married Coretta Scott. What do you think, Greeland?
He got married.
He got married. You were right.
And married.
Number 4. Which of these happened before 1960? So I want to find 1960 and look up here before it. So you don't want down here. He made his I Have a Dream speech. He married Coretta Scott. He won the Nobel Peace Prize. Do you guys remember what happened before 1960? Hayden, what do you think?
He won the
Nobel Peace Prize? Well, no, because he won that after. That was after. This one was a tricky one.
Oh! I know this.
Riley?
a lot of people do.
Libby?
Team speech?
Well, he did a speech after 1960. His speech was 1963.
Oh, this
So what one does it have to be, everybody?
Mary.
Mary Coretta Scott. That was before 1960. Okay, Charlotte and Percy, can you quickly fill in? Please. Oh, did I skip one, guys?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Mrs. Murphy totally skipped number 3.
I know that
Dr. King started college in. What year did he go to college? Hayden?
1944.
Good job, 1944. I am so sorry about that.
It's telling us the answer.
Now on the bonus, it says Dr. King's first daughter, Yolanda, was born in 1955. Drag that star, or you guys say draw the star, to that year on the timeline. So everybody with your finger, find 1955. So I'm going to start at 1920, 1930, 1940, 1950. I can't go to 1960, but in the middle, I should put a star. You're going to draw a star as best as you can. There we go. Draw a star between 1950 and 1960. That is when his daughter, first daughter, Yolanda, was born.
Why was he born?
Why you
was his
clicking the
daughter
cover,
born before him?
touching it?
Because it was 1955
showing
and
us
he was
pictures.
born in.
No, he was born up here.
Because I was